Good afternoon, Chemistry B students. Let's get into what we want to cover today, which is covalent molecules and how to name them and how to write formulas. First off, with covalent molecules, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you understand that covalent molecules are always going to be combinations of nonmetals. So you will not see any sort of metals in them. So that's one of the first things you got to recognize when you're looking at these particular formulas when you see them. So when we look at our document here, which is today's document, covalent substances, if you scroll down to the bottom, you're going to see a chart over here that shows you how to name things. And on that chart, first thing it says is look at the first element in the chemical formula. If it's a non-metal, you know you're dealing with a covalent situation. And that way, if you are, you have to use prefixes. And vice versa, if there is a metal involved, you know you're dealing with those ionic rules that we discussed yesterday. So again, bottom of that sheet should help you with this. And so if we have a non-metal situation, we're going to use these prefixes when we're doing these things. Let's do a quick example on this. So let's do this molecule here. Most of you know what this molecule is, but let's break it down in terms of how we would name it. First off, we recognize right away the first element is a non-metal. So both of these are non-metals, and so is this one. So we are going to only be using prefixes when we do this. The first thing we're going to do is write the name of the particular first element, and this one is carbon. For the next one, we are going to write down we're going to add IDE, very similar to what you did for the other one, but we have to use these. We use the subscript to get our prefix. Now, there is a list of prefixes on your sheet. 1 is mono, 2 is di, 3 is tri, 4 is tetra, 5 is penta, 6 is hexa, and so forth. It goes all the way down. These are Latin prefixes that we use for numbers. With this, we're going to take that prefix and we're going to add that in front. So that di goes in front of that oxide. And so we just did a naming situation there. Well, what if we want to write a formula? So let's do another one. Find one on our sheet here in terms of doing a formula. Let's do this one, R, dinitrogen trioxide. All right, so I'm going to write that down in my chill. Dinitrogen trioxide. And we're going to go ahead and then look, the prefixes are here, so we know that di is 2. So we're going to write down the element, nitrogen, and we're going to use the 2, the di, to give that subscript. Oxygen is our second element. We write that down. Tri is in front. We put a 3 there. So we just showed you how to do a formula there. Pretty simple. Covalents are using those prefixes. The one thing to note, though, you will not use the word mono on the first name of an element. So like we never say mono carbon dioxide. Since there's one carbon, you're never going to say mono here. That is another exception to that. You do use the word mono on the second name a lot of times, like carbon monoxide, but you do not use it on the first name of anything. Hope that helps. Go ahead and complete that sheet that is provided for you today. And if you got any questions, send me an email.